In this video, let's talk about arbitrage with currencies. Okay, and let's check out a real-world example, a very simple one here. If you want to buy British pounds with US dollars, you find that the spot rate, in other words, the current rate, right? You have to deliver the dollars in New York. Okay, if we're looking at the spot rate in New York, which is 80 point, 8 or 80 pennies pounds in British pounds. I'm sorry, per US dollar. Okay, and you also find that the spot rate in London is 82 pennies per US dollar. Okay. And there's a difference between the two spot rates, right? So that's why we would ask you, where should you buy the pounds? Okay. Obviously, in London, you're gonna get a better deal, right? By giving up $1, you will be able to get 2 more pennies over there, right? 82 pennies in London versus 80 pennies in New York, right? So of course you should buy in London. However, when you make your decision, you should also factor in any transaction cost. Okay. In this case, if you live in New York, you want to do this currency exchange in London, you can do that. But you have to wire your dollar from New York to London in the first place, right? And once you've done that, you get the 82 pennies, right? In London, and then you have to wire these 82 pennies back to New York, okay? So that it will be in your account, right? In other words, here you have to factor in how much you have to pay for wiring, okay? And these cost, wiring cost could be more than 2 pennies, which is the price difference here, okay? In other words, it may not profitable doing that. It probably doesn't make sense. Okay, like if you pay more for wiring than what you could get in London, right? The additional 2 pennies. All right. So if we ignore all of this wiring cost, okay, if the wiring is free, let's say, all right, then of course you should, as we already said, buy the British pounds in London. Okay. Now here, if many choose to do the same thing as you do, in other words, sell dollars and buy pounds in London, what will happen to the spot rates in New York and London respectively? Okay. Now here, it's a very simple supply and demand analysis. And I would suggest you to pause the video and trying to do this by yourself. Okay. All right. And now here, let's go ahead and talk about it. Okay. Now, if many people like you are sending their dollars to London and get them exchanged for British pounds, you would find that in the London market, more people are selling US dollars and buying British pounds, right? So this exchange rate would be lower. In other words, the units of British pounds per dollar would decrease, okay? Again, because of the increase in the supply of dollars, which pushed down the dollar price, right? And increasing demand for British pounds, which will push up the price for pounds, right? So again, because here the exchange rate is expressed as the units of pounds per dollar, so this number is going to decrease when many are doing that. Okay. Now in New York, you would find that because people are sending their dollars overseas to get the British pounds, so the supply for U.S. dollars would decrease, right? And the demand for British pounds would decrease as well. Okay, so you find that the units of British pounds per dollar is going to increase. Okay, in other words, dollar becomes more scarce, and the British pounds becomes, it has a less demand, right? So this price is going to go up. Okay, this exchange rate, I'm sorry. And as we said, the rate in London is going down, the rate in New York is going up until these two meet somewhere in between, right? In other words, what we're trying to say is if many people are doing this, then we're going to see the only one rate between the two markets. Okay, in other words, the rate will converge. They will be the same. Okay, once again here, remember we said there's no wiring cost. Okay, all right. So here we show you a simple flow chart about what we just discussed. So we start with the box A. You have $1 in New York. You're trying to buy the British pounds. So one thing you could do is in New York, you go ahead and do that. Okay, so you sell your dollar and get the pounds. Okay, so this is the exchange rate. As we said, it's a 0.80 over there. And this is so-called the direct exchange. Okay, you can also take an indirect path to do this. As we said, you can transfer the dollar to London. Okay, you can wire it to London, and then you go from box A to box C, and in London you sell dollars for pounds. Okay, based upon this rate over there. Okay, 0.82. And once you get your pounds, you wire it back to New York. Okay, so this is a kind of the indirect path or indirect exchange. Okay, as we said, if you can find any difference in the prices between these two transactions, then you would find people would choose a better deal for them. And if many are doing that, then eventually we should see the same rate between these two. In other words, it won't have any price difference. Okay. Now here, let's talk about what exactly we mean by arbitrage between the two currencies. Is what we just discussed is actually an arbitrage? No. Arbitrage actually means instantaneously buy a currency for a lower price on one market and sell it for a higher price on another market. Okay. Now here we need to revisit this example. Again, if you find that the spot rate in New York is 0.8 British pounds per dollar, and the rate in London is 0.82 pounds per dollar, then what is the arbitrage opportunity in this example? Okay, like what currency you're gonna buy and sell, in which market you're gonna buy, in which market you're gonna sell. Okay, and again, the transaction cost is still a factor here. Okay, so how much it costs you to wire the currency between the two markets, right? Now, bring your thoughts to our class. We're gonna discuss this, okay? To see if you can find this profitable opportunity to get rich, okay? Now here we wanna get the water even muddier, okay? We're gonna try a more challenging case here. So we're gonna talk about the arbitrage among three currencies here. Suppose you find the following spot rates on the Forex market. So here it doesn't have to be on different markets. It could be on the same market. Okay. So here you find that the spot rate between the British pounds and US dollars is still 0.8 pounds per dollar. Okay, and the rate between the euro and the US dollar is 0.95 euros per dollar, and the third rate is 0.88 pounds per euro. Okay, in other words, here we talk about three currencies: British pound or pound sterling, US dollars, and the euro. Okay. Now, once again, do you find any profitable opportunity to get rich immediately? Okay. So instead of trading between the two currencies, here you have to trade simultaneously among the three currencies. Okay. Once again, bring your thoughts to class, and we're gonna talk about that. Okay. And intuitively, as we said before, if many choose to, like they all see this profitable opportunity, they're going to do the same thing, the same trading practice, then what will happen to the spot rate in New York and London? Well, here, I guess it doesn't, I'm sorry, it's a typo. It doesn't matter here, right, where exactly it takes place. But what will happen to, these three rates? Okay, and here we use once again a flow chart to show you this. Okay, if you get, for example, $1 here in box A, okay, what you can do is you sell dollar for pounds, so you go from A to B directly. Okay, or what you can do is, as this example shows, you can get your, sell your dollars for euros as the step one, okay? And then you sell euros for pounds, that's a step number two, okay? So eventually, can you find any price difference between these two transactions, okay? In other words, which one gives you a better deal, okay? So bring your thoughts to class, we can discuss this. Now here, there are, in general, three outcomes that could possibly occur. Okay, so the first one is the direct trade from dollars to pounds gives you a better rate. In other words, here, this exchange rate, between dollars and pounds is greater than you sell. I'm sorry, it should be this one first, right? You sell dollars for euro and then sell euro for pounds, right? It takes you two steps to get, from dollars to pounds, okay? And if this product, that means your kind of the combined exchange rate, okay? It's going to be less than this. Of course, you go the direct trade, direct way. Okay. However, in theory, the indirect trade could give you a better rate, right, or better deal. So that means this product is going to be greater than this one. Or the third possibility is they're exactly the same. Okay. If they're exactly the same, that means, taking either way won't make any difference. Okay, so there's no arbitrage opportunity, in the third case, and that's why here we call this no arbitrage condition. Okay, so again, if you do the direct exchange between dollars and pounds, this is the ratio you get, or you take an indirect way to get there. Okay, you get the euros first and then convert the euro to pounds. So you're going to get this product. Now here we do a little math trick. We flip this exchange rate between the euros and dollars. Okay, and once we flip it, then we get the number of units of dollars per euro. Okay, and then it goes from the numerator to the denominator because we flip it. Okay, so this rate here is what we'll call the cross rate. Now we do this flip thing, find this ratio, because both are quoted as the units of British pounds or US dollars per euro. So they would be consistent. okay, in terms of the quotation.